Welcome to Pucked Up Hockey Moms, where the arenas are freezing, the group chats are unhinged, and the parenting, well, let's just say we're doing our best. I'm Amanda, hockey mom, chaos wrangler, and proud captain of the Bad Mom Squad.
And I'm Brittany, mom of three, two who play hockey, expert at juggling carpools, cold coffee, and the occasional emotional breakdown in the arena parking lot.
We're here to spill the tea on what it really means to raise hockey kids, from politics in the stands to mental health, bad calls, and everything in between. No filters, no fluff, just the truth. With a side of sarcasm.
And yeah, we're laughing through the madness, because if we didn't, we'd be crying into a damp mitt left in the trunk since last season.
So if you've ever screamed, "Move your feet," while secretly Googling the rules mid-game, you're our people.
This is Pucked Up Hockey Moms.
Let's get into it.
Welcome back to Pucked Up Hockey Moms. I'm your host, Amanda. Today's episode is one of those stories that stays with you, the kind that reminds you why sports moms are built differently, because life shapes us, tests us, and somehow we still show up. With us today is another author from the Sports Mom Playbook, sharing her story. Welcome, Neisha.
Hi, Amanda.
Now, I know this is an average sports mom journey, but let's rewind a bit and have you start with your sports mom journey and where it began, not in hockey, but in the wider world of sports parenting, football, soccer, wrestling, and wherever you want to start with it, we'll just go from there.
All right. Yeah, I was thinking about that today. I guess the first thing is that my husband and I both were athletes.
Nice.
So that's where it starts. So when
Yeah.
you're an athlete, of course, when you have kids, you want them to do all of the sports that you did, right? So my stepson, we call him number one because he was the first one.
Yeah.
So he was 8 when I married my husband.
Mm-hmm.
So he was into football.
Mm-hmm.
And stayed into football until his high school years. And then he did in between in junior high, he did a little bit of boxing. So, and he's always been very good at like whatever he did. So that was pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's good.
So that's our oldest. So that's Christopher. And then our middle son played t-ball, soccer, loved soccer when he was younger. Like that was his thing, loved soccer. And then when he went to junior high, then he did basketball, football, and then never baseball though in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And probably because, when you're in high school, you can only play like one sport, you can't do multiple and, like a side gig.
Yeah. When you're competitive, you kind of have to pick one and stick with it. Yeah.
Right. Because you're training all the time for that particular one. And then his junior year, he did basketball, but he didn't love basketball, but he always loved soccer. But our school was so small, we didn't really have a soccer team. But then the senior year, we got a soccer team. So he didn't care like how good or bad it was. So he played soccer his senior year and he was excited about that. And then the youngest, which is a girl, I remember her starting off with gymnastics, but gymnastics here on our side of town is not huge where it is on another side of town. So she didn't stick with that too long. She really did like that a lot. And a little bit of cheerleading when she was younger. And then in junior high, she started basketball. And then volleyball she was really good at. So volleyball and basketball were her things she did in high school. And then when she graduated and went to college, then basketball as a coach, as a what do you call it, student coach or student manager, not student coach. So so kind of like our journey, as far as what the kids did, as far as sports.
I was a basketball player, so I understand. I do love basketball. I don't watch it on TV, but I liked playing it.
Right.
Yeah. So what's your definition of normal was kind of busy, chaotic, full of games and gear and sidelines and stuff because you had the 3 kids and all the different sports going on between them.
Right. So we stayed in the car most of the time. Ate in the car, food's everywhere, getting snacks. We had to do all the things, making sure everybody had all the schoolwork when you're going to do the schoolwork. So it was just, you didn't really think about it, when your mom, you just got up and you did it, especially if you're a working mom. So, trying to work and still make sure that afterwards we had everything that we needed, especially when they were younger, because it wasn't always, timed in school. So when the younger kids, I worked at the same school that they were at. So then that made life easier. So it wasn't as easy when my first son, my stepson, was in school
Mhm.
because I was at work. So then, you got to take off work. You got to,
Yes.
figure out how you're going to get to the games. So,
Mm.
that's hard sometimes, just trying to juggle it all. So you got to have a
Yeah.
plan. You got to write the plan down. You got to write the things down. So if any mom's just trying to do it at the beginning, I would say make sure you have a schedule, so
Yeah.
that everybody in the household knows everybody's schedule, because when you can see it, then you can work it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know in the beginning, we didn't have a shared calendar, like, and now I even have my mom on our Apple calendar. Like, everyone's shared into the sports stuff because it is hard to, like, unless it's written down, understand who needs to be where, when, why. But that's only more of a recent thing and not necessarily something that was way back. Like, it literally physically had to be written down everywhere so
Right.
that nobody was missing something, right? And when you have full-time jobs, like, they schedule all these things, like, during office hours. So you're
Yep.
like, it's hard to sustain a job when you're still trying to raise your kids and keep them happy and actually attend their sports and make sure they feel supported. So,
Right.
yeah.
And I'm making it halftime.
Yeah. So can we talk a bit, like, where's your stepson, your oldest son? What's he doing now?
Well, he's older now, so he's like 40 something.
Okay.
I don't even know. I'm like, how old are you? It's probably, I don't remember his age because I'm not trying to remember mine. But
Yeah.
yeah, he has a business and, a job, full-time job, and
Yeah.
he has a daughter. She's 20 something years old, and I don't
Aw.
to do like sports like, like his siblings did, but yeah,
Yeah.
but he's great. I asked him today,
Yeah.
can you tell me like your perception
Mhm.
of your dad and mine's, how you felt about us as far as it had to do with sports? Did you feel supported? Did
Yeah.
you feel like, how did you feel? Like, what word would you use?
Yeah.
And the reason I asked him that is because I've been having a lot of conversations with my daughter, and sometimes as parents, we have a perception of how we're raising our kids, but that's not how they
Yeah.
receive. So it was
Yeah.
important to me only because you asked me the question. Like, I think it was important to me, but I never asked the question to him. Maybe because I was in fear of what he might say.
I
And
know, it's hard.
he laughed and he said it was structure. It was always structure. He said, y'all gave me
Yeah.
a sense of structure that, he said, especially when I came into his life, because,
Mhm.
grandma was helping, and, grandmas, they just want to love the kid. They're not trying to make them do the things. They just want to give them
Yeah.
all the things.
Yeah.
So
All the
when I
love and all the
mom,
fun stuff.
yeah, but he
Yeah.
got to do more because there was another parent to help to get him to the places. So he says,
Yeah.
he said, a sense of structure. And he said, and I have carried that into my adulthood. So
That's
it was,
great.
like, yeah, a big gift that I got to even hear him say that. So thank you. Thank you for asking the question, because I didn't know. And I think I was
Yeah.
fearful to know, but I think it's important to know so that we can help other moms, other
Mhm.
parents. You think just because you're parenting, you're doing it right. We do it wrong all the time.
We do, and you have the best intentions, right? Because everybody wants to do better for their kids than they had, and it doesn't mean you necessarily had anything bad. We just take things that we didn't love or we wanna improve on, and
Mm,
we try and do better for the next generation. That's just human nature, but
right,
you don't know what you don't know, and you don't have the same perspective as your children and how they're gonna react to that, and yeah, checking in with them, like, in the process doesn't always happen, and checking in after the fact can be intimidating because you're like, oh God, do I really want to know the answer?
right,
But it is good because it can help a relationship too. So I'm
right.
glad you asked him. Do you feel better now that you asked him?
My goodness, I feel so much better. I would just
Yeah.
encourage parents that have multiple children to
Mhm.
check in now, because I
Mhm.
don't, if you have 3 kids, you can raise them the same way and they're not going to come out the same. That's because you raised them the same way. I think core values, you have to have, but there's one kid you can talk to a certain way, where another kid you really can't talk to another way because of how they're filtered.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
That's your humble brag.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wanted to.
Oh, wait.
Number 6, 7. Bill Brodkin kicking from 6-7 yards away.
Why are you doing that like you're
Yeah,
juggling boobs?
I don't know. Yeah, you were juggling boobs there.
Oh.
No, that's the 6-7. That's what people do.
Ah!
That's the thing.
That is so Katie explaining to me what reality is, thinking that I was seriously not knowing what you were doing.
Oh my God,
That
that's
was
the
awesome.
highlight reel. That's the highlight reel. That's the clip that goes viral.
Yeah. Their personalities are different. The way they learn are different. The way they perceive what's happened is different. And it's not just your own kids. Like every kid takes things differently, but each kid within a family takes it differently. So
Yep.
trying to understand the individual uniqueness of your own children can be hard. And if
Yeah.
they're nothing like you, it's even harder because you
Right.
well, it's good and bad. Like sometimes if they're too much like you can butt heads, but you can
Mhm.
understand them in certain areas and help them. But when you're opposite, like there's just so many different layers to parenting that you just don't think of. And then you start adding in the scheduled things. And if they enjoy competing in competitive sports and stuff, that's like a next level. And hopefully they see it as a love that it's meant for to keep them out of trouble and to keep them
Right.
healthy and building great habits.
Right.
That's what we hope they get out of it. That's what we hope they see.
That's what we hope, because we want the
Yeah.
whole student athlete, mind, body, and soul, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because it's not just about their education, it's about the whole person. So
Right.
now, if we can talk a bit about your middle child, Cameron,
Mhm.
did you call him number 2? Is that like, did you call them 1, 2,
No,
and 3?
only number one had the number.
Okay.
Everybody else,
Okay.
of course, we call him by his name, but it's like, hey, and I think we did that because we really wanted him to know that he was he was first.
Yeah.
I want him to feel like he was, and I don't know, and he was first.
And yeah, he wasn't anything less than because you're a blended family.
Kids,
Yeah.
right? And I think in my head that was probably the reasoning why, but then it just became a thing. Hey, number one, so
Yeah.
he loves it, so he never said he didn't like it. So there's that. Maybe I
Good.
should have. I don't think he objected to it.
That's good.
See, so Cameron,
Mhm.
let's see. Oh my gosh, so many things I could say about him, but this kid loved every person. And
Aw.
the only way I can describe it when I think back about who he was, if you go into a lunchroom
Mhm.
and a lunchroom had all types of kids.
Yeah.
So black, brown, yellow, white,
Mhm.
across. He could sit at any table and everybody loved him. And
That's great.
that's who he was.
Mhm.
So with that said, he went to school in North Dakota where
Mhm.
he accepted to play football. So, he wasn't like this like great football player. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? He was average. But when they came, they talked about the whole person and the men that would be there to support him and help him and, decisions outside of football. And that was to me and my husband.
Yeah.
And so far away.
Mhm.
But we decided, this would be a good thing. And so anyway, so up into his junior year and him and his friends, they decided to go on a spring break trip. They were going to drive to
Mhm.
which we got pictures, beautiful, beautiful pictures from Oregon. They were outside the majority of the time. He said it was beautiful there. He said if he got married, he was going to bring his wife there. So this is his
Aw.
junior college.
Yeah.
So they were coming back, and I guess they decided they were gonna travel early morning, which is crazy because we didn't talk to him before he started traveling.
Okay.
Which was not normal.
Mhm.
Didn't talk to him because we probably would have, because maybe they started that night before. I can't remember. Everything's kind of shady right now.
Yeah.
But night before, and they wouldn't have went all the way through, but they did. They went all the way through.
Mhm.
But this particular day, it was black ice.
Aw.
There was an 18-wheeler that a couple miles up had flipped over that they knew nothing about. And
Yeah.
then there was an 18-wheeler that was right in front of them that had moved over to the left. And when they got to it, they just slid right into it. And the reason the 18-wheeler had moved to the left was because they knew about the 18-wheeler that was in front of them. So
Yeah.
they stopped. So they said there was nothing that he could have done. So
Yeah.
he passed away and his two friends did survive, and they are doing amazing to this day. They're both married. One of them is expecting a baby any day now, so I'm so excited for them.
Aw.
But we did lose our son.
Yeah.
It was 10 years ago.
Wow.
So March 10 years ago.
That's awful. And
Yes.
I honestly don't know how you survived, but you had two other children, so
Mhm.
kind of have to, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess if that's a reason, I guess so.
Right? Like,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
like,
yeah, and yeah, more than I mean, of course, my kids, of
yeah,
course, and they're like the main reason. But I worked at a school, a Christian
yeah.
school,
Okay.
telling children about Jesus
Mhm.
on a day-to-day basis because they're a Christian school.
Yeah.
There's a scripture in the Bible, and it talks about not mourning the way that the world mourns,
Yeah.
but mourning hope.
Yeah.
And whatever reason, well, of course, because once you read it, then it gets in your heart.
Yeah.
That popped up to me that I
Mhm.
don't have to mourn or grieve the way the world does. So how does the world do that?
Yeah.
I didn't really care how the world did it. I just knew that there was something more that I had on the inside of me. And
Yeah.
so I showed up, I don't think I missed that much work. Of course I missed some,
Yeah.
but I kept showing up, kept showing up. And I'm still showing up. Here we are, 20, what, going on 26 years. I'm still showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, still showing up.
And whatever works for you, whatever gets you through the day. And hope
Mhm.
is a huge thing that gets people through. And whether it comes from religion or just from any sort of belief
Mhm.
in anything bigger than you, then I am here for it. Like
Yeah.
whatever is going to help get you through, then
Because what's our alternative?
yeah,
Either going to be in the pit. I mean, and the
yeah,
pit is bad, all the time.
yeah,
I go in the pit. I just tell
yeah,
people, if you go in the pit, just don't stay there.
yeah,
Yeah, get out. Ask for help. Send out a smoke
yeah,
signal. You got something, but just
yeah.
don't stay there.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes we need the pit. Sometimes you just need some darkness and no one else around. But yeah, staying in the pit is the worst thing you can do, right? Like
Yeah.
feeling alone, like that's the hardest part. Like having some help and having a good support network and getting out. Like obviously, I've never lost a child. I've lost a parent. I felt like I was in the pit for a very long time,
Mhm.
but my husband and my children got me out of the pit. So
Mhm.
yeah, like it is hard, and having a support network near you and having other children to help get you through that is super helpful. But you've taken that loss and you've turned it into something positive,
Mm.
which I think is amazing. And you've done that with your daughter. Can we talk a bit about that?
Mhm, we can. Well, she's just
Yeah.
in her own right an amazing
Yeah.
person because
Yeah.
she has that same belief.
Yeah.
Also, we're gonna see our loved ones like one day, and that they would want us to live. So that's the biggest thing. So how do we live our best life with grief,
Mhm.
and with loss? How do we do that? So she graduated from the school that I worked at and still working at. And then she went on to college and finished and got her master's, and now she works with kids.
That's
So,
amazing.
but while she was going to school in college, she
Mhm.
got that job as a student manager at
Mhm.
for the basketball team there. So she would travel with them and she stayed with them even while she was getting her master's.
Mhm.
So when she left, we found out that they give out an award in her honor, which is there is no job that is undone.
That's amazing.
And it is so amazing. So my kids always talked about when they were younger. I remember saying that we don't really have a testimony. We don't do drugs.
Yeah.
Neither one of us are pregnant. And I'm like, hey, that's the hardest actually testimony to actually have is to stay
Yeah.
out of.
Yes.
So to think that my son has went on to be with the Lord and his
Mhm.
legacy continues through what we call lovingly Birdman, through
Mhm.
gear and stuff like that. And then he has an award that we give out every year at the end of the year. But then my daughter here on earth, there's an
Yeah.
award where her legacy continues on. So
Yeah.
I just it's pretty amazing how,
Powerful.
we work all the things together.
Yeah, it all kind of like has meshed together, and I think that's amazing. No Job Undone, that's great. Like that's a really powerful statement. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I bet you're unbelievably proud of her, and being able to do this together probably feels amazing too, right? Because you said you like she's got the scholarship in her honor, but do you guys give some of his into that as well? Is that what happens?
Yeah, I think she because she has a job, so I think she
Yeah.
personally gets. I never asked her like how she does it, and then whatever comes in from his scholarship, then we'll put some to that person also,
Okay.
and give them some of it also, so that person gets money, and then the person on the other end gets a scholarship too. So
That's so
yeah,
yeah.
just trying to pay.
Yeah, I mean, really, that's kind of all we can do, and that's such a
Mhm.
positive legacy is help other kids stay out of trouble and help push them forward, and hopefully that just keeps a movement going of paying it forward from everyone, right? And
Correct.
it is so hard in this world and all the different vices out there to keep our kids out of trouble. And I'm a firm believer that sports is the best way to do it because it gives such like a positive feeling to the athletes when they're doing it, like
Yeah.
that runner's high or whatever. Like it's a natural feeling that comes to you without any other enhancements. And that just like, it feels good to feel good, like it feels good to have all those exercise hormones going versus
Right.
being in a downward spiral, right? And to have that be your addictive behavior versus anything else is such a blessing to be able to give to our children. So,
Or even, with the highs of it, of course, there's the lows of it. So
absolutely.
having someone,
Mhm.
especially the coaches and, parents to
Yeah.
walk them through loss, you
Yes.
know? And so how are you going to, because you see the best or the worst of who you
Mhm.
are in athletics, right?
Absolutely.
So when the work comes out, so how do you deal with it? Because you're
Mhm.
gonna have to apply that when you get older. So
Mhm.
having somebody there to help you to navigate that for your student athlete is like the best,
It is.
especially if you positive.
Yeah. I say that to the kids all the time, right? Like you learn more from a loss than you do from a win, right? Like it
Yes.
does feel great to win and winning is amazing and that is the goal, but you don't learn as much when you win. You're just excited and everyone's cheering, but you don't necessarily always go play by play to see, well, what did we do that worked so well? Sometimes you do, but when you've
Hmm.
lost, you go over all the details of how it went wrong and learn how to become more resilient and make some like changes and stuff and that translates to every aspect of your life. So it really just builds so much more character, right? Like helps learn how to like we win and lose as a team. We rely on each other. If one person's sick, that lets the team down. Like not that they're trying to do it by being sick, but like in general, if somebody's late or doesn't show up or sleeps in, like these all these aspects affect a team, right? So when you
Right.
work as a team, you win and lose as a team, and it translates into a job, into every aspect of life, and working together to succeed is much better than working on your own to succeed because you can celebrate those successes together. So
And
yeah,
then, if you lost, sometimes they're just better than you.
yeah,
You know what I mean? But
yeah,
did you do the best that you could have possibly done with the tools that you
exactly.
were given? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, did you leave it all out there, right? Because you can be
Right.
proud even when you've lost. You can know you, like, worked your butt off out there and
Right.
gave it all you've got, and maybe they were just a better team, but you
Right.
can learn to outplay teams even if they're better than you by watching game tape later, but but
Right.
still, like, there's things that you can learn from it whether or not they were way better than you or you were way better than them, so, yeah,
Right.
it's
We
lots.
talked about this with the sports moms and
Mhm.
was talking about, like, do you let your kids quit?
Mhm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Right. So, pretty much across the board, which I love that the sports moms are pretty like-minded,
Yeah.
we'll talk about that later, but the group of 10
Yeah.
women that did not know each other but very like-minded.
Yes.
But yeah, starting in something and finish it
Yeah.
through the hard times and through, the good times, because
Yeah.
that is what really, gives you your foundation of who you are, and, just through it.
Builds that character, sets that foundation. And we've said to our kids before, like, okay, so we've registered you for this because you wanted it. but you can't quit halfway through because your team relies on you. So if after
Right.
the season you don't want to do it, fine, but you
Right.
can't quit mid-season. You
Right.
have to
Right.
honor your commitment and finish it, right?
That's
Like
right. Because you're
y- yeah, your
yeah.
team depends on you. And if like half the team decided to quit mid-season, the whole team's done, right? And that's not
Oh,
fair to anyone. Like you can't just quit
right.
halfway through. I can't just get up and walk out of a job, out of a project. Like they're relying on you for that, right? People do
Right.
it. People
Right.
do it probably because they had too many moms and dads that just let them quit everything. But
Right.
that's why like a sport helps so much on a resume. Like I know in our area, especially like employers, if they see that you've played a team sport on your resume, they want you on their team. They want you to work for them because they know that you have those core
Right.
values,
Yep.
right?
You're a team.
Yeah, and that is just something you can't teach in a bachelor degree. Like that just doesn't come with it. Like I'm like super great that you got all this education, but if you haven't worked on a team before and you just kept going through all the school, that's awesome that you're super smart, but if you've never actually worked on a team, that won't
Right.
translate well, right? Or it will, but it's going to take some time. Like it's not just a natural thing. Like you need to be able to work together. So yeah,
Right.
quitting is not really an option in our house. We help talk them through their problems, right? Like
Right.
how can you make this better? What can you do to improve your situation because
Right.
life is not fair.
Right.
Everybody is not treated equally and you better
Right.
get used to it now because that will never
Right.
change.
Right. And, and and if you can use your voice, how can you use your voice?
Yes.
Because because different organizations do allow you to speak into things where you
Hmm.
could at least your voice be heard. So that I think it's good too that you have the parent and the coaches because maybe you can't give your opinion
Hmm.
to the coach. They've made a decision, but
Hmm.
be able to talk with your parents so that
Hmm.
they can give you a point on it. So that's why, yeah, like you said,
Yeah.
athletics is on so many levels.
Exactly. Yeah, in most sports, it is frowned upon for the parents to just go straight to the coaches all the time. And so that's
Right.
why, like, don't do it or you're just ruining your children's futures, right? Like, I don't care how old they are, it's a bad idea. But it's important that we're teaching our children how to speak up for themselves for so
Yep.
many reasons, but in the sports world especially because then they are learning to use their voice and learning to be
Hmm.
heard and the coaches will respect that if they actually
Yeah.
are standing up for themselves or have ideas or it's not always going to work, but and obviously, you want your child to be respectful. You don't want them to just be yelling at the coach. You like teaching them to
Right.
be respectful and problem solve, right? I mean, I was
Right.
always taught that don't complain about something unless you have a solution. So
Right.
if if you explain that to your child too, okay, like this is a problem, yes, but how can you create a solution for your coach? Because you don't just want to
Right.
be a problem.
Right.
If you can be seen as a problem solver, that will help you go further, right? So
That's right. Be a solutionist.
yeah, be a solutionist, not a problemist.
That's right.
Yeah. So those are the conversations that us moms having with ourselves realize we can pass down to our kids and not just be the ones to handle it because it's so easy to just want to fix your kids' problems. Like
Hmm.
that's human nature. You just want to give them a
Yep.
hug and tell them it's going to be okay, but that doesn't fix everything, right?
Yep.
So,
I tell people even now, like if they
yeah.
call and they have a problem,
Hmm.
and normally I'll say, "Well, your kid was here all day. Why didn't they walk into the office and tell me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it could have been called at 8 o'clock in the morning instead of like 4 o'clock in the afternoon."
Yeah.
So I was
And
like,
festering.
so right. So let's make a deal.
Hmm.
I'm here. If your child comes home and says X, Y, and Z, tell them to come to me. Talk it out. Let's see if we can figure out something.
Yeah.
And I think when people get that permission,
Hmm.
to be able to do that too, because like you say, you got to people how to treat you, but you want to help the parents to help their kids to have a voice.
Yes,
And so unless
enable your children to solve their own problems rather
yeah,
than rather than just fixing it because later in life that doesn't help them. Or
right.
like I know I've been really good at problem solving myself in
Mhm.
situations at work, but I credit that to my parents and even my in-laws for helping me talk things out and find
Right.
solution, right? Like
Right.
if you complain about something, they're like, okay, well, how could this work? How can you fix it? Like you talk out the
Mhm.
problem and then you go deal with it with a teacher or a manager or a boss, whatever, because that's how it's going to help. They don't just
Right.
do everything for me. Like my parents worked full time, so they couldn't come to all my stuff, but they would tell me how to deal with it. And they're like, I'm not calling your teacher. You could do it yourself.
Mhm.
You could do it. I
Yes.
believe in you. And I'm like,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
So if I wanted it to change, I had to do it myself. And it wasn't because they didn't love me, because they loved me that they taught me how
Right.
to do it, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah. I love the power of sports moms. I mean, doesn't mean that a non-sports mom isn't a great mom either. I'm not saying that. You just have different experiences that are a
Right.
lot more
Y'all are
intense.
great. Y'all-
Yeah, y'all are great too. It's just there's different, more intense circumstances I find than in the sports world that translate into every other aspect. So,
Right.
and we're juggling some insane schedules, man.
Yes.
That is a problem
Yes.
solving situation.
That's right. With all that
Yeah.
equipment.
And our cars don't smell good.
Yeah. No.
No.
They.
So I'd love to go back to the words you'd given me earlier that you have chosen hope, security, and faith in Jesus as they're kind of like your mantra. Is it all because of working in a Christian school, or have those always just kind of been your foundational words?
Mm, I wouldn't say always.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know.
Yeah.
Well, since kids, I've always known Christ, but prior to that, no.
Yeah.
So, but I would say since I had kids,
Mhm.
most definitely, because you got to have some help. So, outside of if you're married,
Mhm.
yay, you got another adult in the house.
Yeah.
But if you don't, not even either way,
Mhm.
I got to talk to the Lord about some stuff.
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
even if that's just getting up and having to juggle all of these things,
Mhm.
he gives me the strength to do that on the daily.
Yeah.
So for me, he's my hope, he's my
Mhm.
strength, he's my peace, he's my counselor. So he's
Mhm.
all that wrapped up into one. So whatever it is that I need, I can pull from that
That's
to help
great.
me
Yeah.
with whatever it is,
Yeah.
because as a mom, if I don't take care of myself, there's no way that I can parent kids.
Nope.
I mean, you can, but at the end of yourself. So, yeah,
Yeah.
so even if you're married, you got to take care of you, because there's not just kids, there's your spouse. So you got to you got to be that helpmate that you're supposed to be with your spouse. So if you don't take care of you, then everything else just falls. So,
Yeah.
that saying, if mom's happy, then ain't nobody happy. That's because mama didn't take care of herself.
Exactly.
So mama has to take care of herself.
It is so important, and I I definitely say that to people, like, if you don't put yourself first, one, you're showing your kids that they're not important too, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you've put them first, but at what cost? Because mom looks sick, mom's not doing it, like, mom is running
Mm-hmm.
herself ragged, and that's my fault. Then the kids will actually take that on and think that that's their fault almost, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Raising kids to think that they're not important, and by treating yourself properly, you're leading by example. So it's
And
kind
that
of a
it's
win-win.
normal. Right.
Yeah,
And it's
you don't want it.
and that it's normal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
you
not fun.
don't want that to be the normal. You want it to be normal that they take care of themselves. So you need to take care of yourself. So yeah,
Right. And
absolutely.
moms have to ask for help.
Yes. Yeah, it
And
does take a village. I strongly believe in that. I always used to thought that was the weirdest saying, but I use it all the time. Like my hockey moms are a village. Like I can call anyone up and be like, "Oh my goodness, I'm feeling so gross today. Can you pick up my daughter or my son
mhm.
or whatever?" Right? Like, or we forgot this. Do you have this? Like it just there's
Mm.
always somebody around that's willing to help you, and you don't need to be prideful about it because they want to help, and I'm sure you'll
Right.
be in a situation where you can give back and help too. So,
Right.
yeah, like
Iron sharpens, don't be
pardon me?
afraid.
Yeah, don't be afraid to ask.
Right, right. Because iron sharpens iron. Everybody is important. Everybody has their own gifts. So just because you can't do one thing, there's something you can do. So
Exactly.
whatever that you're good at, work it. Just
Yeah.
work it. Be that force for that other parent.
Yeah,
So
everybody
that
has their little niche, right? So we just kinda gotta help where we can and ask for help where you can. So, Yeah.
Right. I think for especially the young moms,
Mm-hmm.
don't quite have it down yet. Like you can't
Mm-hmm.
really figure it out. Look at the mom that does. Like, what is
Yeah.
she doing?
Yeah.
How is she planning her mornings? Like, what are her kids eating? I mean, just
Yeah.
from A to Z. Sit down and have a 5-10 minute conversation can change your life.
Yep.
If you know where to start. Look at the
Yeah.
moms that are already. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. They've got the wheel down. So
Exactly.
yeah,
And you
have
don't
the
have to take everything they say, but you can take snippets from every different person and make it work for
yeah,
you, right? Like
yeah,
I always like becoming a parent felt like joining a cult. And it's true. It is, right? Because when you're pregnant, you get strangers on the street giving you advice. And you're like, what
mm,
happened? Like, where did this
right,
come from? When you have a newborn, everybody's out telling you, like, oh, they've got gas. Oh, it's colic. Like, you're like, where did all this
right,
unsolicited advice come from? But it's because
right,
everybody just wants to help because you become part
right.
of the cult of parenthood. And sports are kind of similar because they're like, "Oh yeah, you should try this, you should try that, or get here, or there's a deal here." And it is because human nature is actually to help people if we're just willing
Yeah,
to accept it and not see it as a threat, right? And not take it as they think I'm doing a shitty job. No, no, we don't think you're doing a
right,
shitty job. We're just trying to
right. We
share
just
some knowledge.
want to help you.
Yeah,
We want to help
everybody
you.
actually wants to help. Just turn off those
Right,
inside negative voices that you're feeling. Like, we're not out to
right,
get you. We're trying to help you, right? And
right.
sometimes it's just your own self-talk that makes you think the opposite way, right? So, yeah, people have great advice and you can take it or leave it. It's
There you
completely up
go.
to you.
That's it. Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Right.
It's yeah, you don't have to take you can take a little, you can take all of it, none of it. It's totally up to you. But if it's going to
Mm,
help you even just a little bit with your schedule, why not? Yeah,
mm,
you don't need to reinvent that wheel. So, yeah.
yep, yep.
I am very happy that you shared your story with us. I know it is tough to deal with loss, but I guarantee you there are listeners out there that needed to hear your story. So, thank you so much for coming on and sharing it with us. Um,
Welcome.
and and I love that you and your daughter get to share on this legacy, and that you got to have that conversation with your son.
Yeah, big deal.
Yeah, yeah. So
All
thank
right.
you,
Thank you so much for having me. It was such a pleasure.
thank you.
Thanks for joining us this week on Pucked Up Hockey Moms. We seriously appreciate you listening, laughing, and surviving the hockey mom life right alongside us.
Whether you're in the stands, stuck in carpool, or hiding in the rink bathroom for 5 minutes apiece, we see you and we're right there with you.
This episode was proudly brought to you by AAA Hockey Recruiting, your go-to for player development, showcases, and getting noticed at the next level.
Whether you're aiming for junior, prep, or NCAA, they've got the tools, the know-how, and the hookup. Check them out at AAAHockeyRecruiting.com and tell them the Bad Mom Squad sent you.
Until next time, stay loud, stay proud, and stay a little bit pucked up.